That was muted. Sorry. Welcome to the Daily Political Tarot and Astrology here on the Black and Orange channel. Thank you for being here. Okay. The news today is so stupid. I mean, I guess I'll tell you the astrology and I'll do readings, but you're gonna have to stop me from beating my head against this desk. The news is so stupid. Anyway, our leaders are so stupid. Okay, but thank you for being here. And Melissa, thank you so much. Just gave 10 memberships to random people in the chat. Thank you. Thank you. So, welcome. I'm here literally every single day of the year, even on days when it is incredibly windy, and I'm afraid it's going to mess up the sound. But there isn't anything I can do because everything's as closed and quiet as I can make it. It's just extremely windy outside. It's very noisy. So sorry about that. But I'm here every day. Just put your political questions in the chat before I come on. We have epic troll slayers who have kept us safe for years. And we have got a fantastic community because you have been so kind to each other and so kind to me. And if you're watching on replay, hello. You can go down in the description box afterward. I timestamp things as I go, and so you can pick and choose what you're interested in, or you can watch back on a higher speed, or whatever works for you. So, happy Friday the 13th. Yes, it is Friday the 13th. I was so busy wanting to beat my head against the desk at the sheer stupidity of what's happening that I completely forgot. It's Friday the 13th. Usually I do a special overlay for that, but today, oh no, I needed something whimsical today. you may need it as well. And was Chicago windy? Yes, Cosmic Goat Lady. No, it's especially windy. And when people talk about Chicago being the windy city, a lot of that has to do with downtown. Because on the Great Plains, having those really tall buildings captures even more wind, and it's right on the lake as well. So you get all kinds of strong winds between those buildings. But out here in the burbs, deep in the burbs, it's not usually this bad. Jeez. Anyway. Okay, so I have some tea to drink, and we'll go through this. Interplanet Janet said the wind in Chicagoland is something today. Awful. Lots of power outages. Yes. And Michelle says Boo Boo needs his daily selfie. He's resting. He's a good boy. Yes, he is. He's a good boy. He's a good boy. He's a good boy. And he just opened his eyes like, you're not going to pick me up, are you? Anyway. Pinup Girl says, hello from Hoffman Estates. It's crazy windy today. I know, right? Whew. Okay, so let's just jump in. At 4 minutes in, if okay, the first thing I'll cover at 4 minutes 15 seconds in is we'll get through a couple of actual like news things, and what is happening is what happened? I am having a technical difficulty right here. Is the numbers lock on? Oh no, here we go. Okay, 450. Sorry about that. What the heck? Anyway, here we are. All right, this is just sad. Wow. All right, refresh the page. Maybe that'll help. Very weird. All right. 5:15. 6 U.S. service members have been killed. Another 6. Bless you. Bless your families. Bless you. Dear great Gussie. 6 service members were killed when a refueling jet went down in western Iraq on Thursday. The Pentagon says the crash was not due to hostile fire or friendly fire, but an Iranian proxy group claimed responsibility. And it's foggy. The death toll for U.S. troops in the Iran war now stands at 13 on Friday the 13th. 13 of our service people gone. For what? I will not be angry the whole time, but mostly it's just there's some other stuff coming up that it's just the stupidity of it is just staggering. But I was excited. The leaves are blowing around outside. Oh, you good kitty. Okay. Right now in the U.S. chart, Mars, God of War, is squaring to a tension with the U.S. Uranus, which is technology, bolts out of the blue. It's literally the squares within minutes, not degrees. There's 60 minutes in every degree, and this is within minutes of being exact. So it's very strong. Mars rules military action. Uranus, because it rules technology, it's an air sign. It rules aircraft, aircraft and sudden disruption. But since we're talking about, well, anyway, Pentagon says one thing, proxy group says another. Investigation's getting messy. A death, adding insult to injury. This story is just going to keep shifting. That's what the astrology is saying. So we'll have a look here. Jean says the news is stupid today. I haven't wanted to look. Fridays have been dump days for so long. Oh, I don't even think we've hit the Friday news dump yet. That's usually later in the day. Oh yeah, Trump, tell us about your victory. Emperor Dum Dum, right there, and his cult, and the Republicans who support him, leaving things unfinished, and the death card. We're just going to get fog out of these people. Okay. So at 8 minutes, 45 seconds in, and thank you for being here. Thank you. I don't know how I could go through the news without you. I really don't. I think I seriously, I think I would have cracked by now. Iran's newly appointed supreme leader issued his first public statement vowing that attacks on U.S. and Israeli military assets will continue until all U.S. bases in the region are closed. Did you hear the story about Pretty Pete Kegsbreath, where he has banned picture taking of him at the Pentagon because they keep putting out unflattering images of him? So from now on, I'm referring to him as Pretty Pete Kegsbreath. Anyway, Pretty Pete Kegsbreath told reporters the new leader is likely disfigured. That's a quote, likely disfigured. So, even more reason for him to be mad? You realize that not everything is about, not everyone's as vain as you are. I know it's inconceivable. Attempting to cast doubt on the statement's authenticity. Or just showing how shallow Pretty Pete Keg's breath is. Oh. Yes, Kelly, tough Pretty Pete. Yes. That's true. That is true, Jose. Everything about him is unflattering. Yeah. Sharon says, hey, Petey, they're unflattering photos because photos don't lie, Dorian Gray. Oscar Wilde reference for the win. Nice. Kay says, I found that telling. It seems he really is hung up with looks. Oh, yeah. I hate to tell him, but he's not all that. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So we're going to we are going to get down. Where is it? Oh, yeah, we'll talk about this next. But again, leaving something unfinished because Chicken Taco, President Chicken Taco, might actually have to chicken out. He might be forced to. We're going to get to that in just a second here. And the reasons are some of the dumbest things you'll ever hear. Okay. Page of Wands, very weak. Pew pew. Big old Judgment. Six of Pentacles, Page of Wands, King of Pentacles. Congress, you can step in any point here and do something about the war powers. Okay. There's not much we can do at the moment, but we know not to trust Pretty Pete Keg's breath. So I don't believe a word coming out of his mouth. And as far as the current, if it's true, current leader of Iran, his father was unalived. His wife, I believe, was unalived, possibly one of his children, and he was reportedly severely hurt. You think what he looks like means squat to this man right now? Really? How stupid can one person be? How vain and narcissistic is Pretty Pete Keg's breath that he thinks in this situation it would matter at all? But here we are. And says, lips moving, must be lying. Yes. Yeah. Hello, Mrs. Gonking. All right, so before we get into some information here about Israel launching what it called a broad wave of strikes on Tehran, hitting more than 200 targets over the past 24 hours, shall we discuss the situation in Iran? Shall we, at 14:30? Because I think there's some background you're not going to necessarily hear everywhere, and this is information you should know. Now, having been born and raised in the United States of America, I am fully aware of how the staggering amount of money that we spend on the military. Staggering. Last I heard, it's more than, what is it? It's like more than the next 6 countries combined or something. It is ludicrous. And actually, it makes sense if you look at the U.S. chart, because first of all, we have a lot of resources. We do, but they're not endless. But we have a lot of resources. We have our sun in Cancer, which is very homeland, mom apple pie, protect your I hate using this word, with a C, clan, your group, your homeland, right? So that's our core identity. And the bottom of our chart, our actual home, is in Aries, which is a martial sign. It's also the pioneer. So we get the cowboys and the pioneers and all the pew-pews. I have to be careful what I say on YouTube. So it would make sense that we do a whole lot of military stuff. So to some extent, we even kind of take it for granted, to some extent, because it's been going on for so long. Okay, well, I have notes. I have been reading all about this, and I have notes. You may have heard that we're running low on the big expensive missiles, right? And the thing is, no, we really are. No, we really are. In a staggering way. And, after that, what? Do we throw kitchen chairs and spitballs and harsh language? Okay. Okay, so here's the math. The U.S. had roughly just over about 4,000 Tomahawk cruise missiles. Okay, 4,000 total. Okay, total 4,000. In the first 72 hours of President Donald Jeffrey Trump's Iran war, the opening of Operation Epic Failure, the military fired approximately 400 of them. 10% of our entire Tomahawk cruise missile stockpile. Whew. Gone. Just here's the thing. These things are really expensive, but they're really hard to make. The U.S. currently makes between like 60 and maybe as much as 90 Tomahawks each year. Less than 100, maybe significantly less than 100 a year. And they just shot off over 400 of them in 72 hours. 400. Each one of them takes up to 2 years to build. So when I say it takes, we make between like 60 and 90 a year, that's not, we just made one and it took a month or two. No. These things take up to 2 years to build. They just burn through roughly a decade of production in 72 hours. So the Pentagon has pivoted. They're now flying B-52 and B-1 bombers loaded with cheaper dumb bombs fitted with GPS guidance kits called JDAMs. JDAM. That's the shift to smaller bombs that pretty Pete Kegsbreath mentioned, but that doesn't solve the situation. One, it takes our service people closer in and puts them in more danger. But there are THAAD, THAAD, missile defense interceptors. Yeah, those are nearly gone. Yeah, those are nearly gone. The Patriot batteries were all not batteries like Duracell, like batteries of Patriot batteries were already at quarter capacity before the war started. Oh, we'll get to why in a minute. Now, here's the thing. Iran knows all of this. So does China. Iran has reportedly been told by their own analysts they can outlast U.S. interceptor stockpiles by simply firing cheaper missiles at a higher rate than the U.S. can afford to shoot them down. And defense analysts are carefully watching China. Every Tomahawk fired at Iran is one fewer available if things get hot with Taiwan. Now you have Chinese military just sitting there watching, going, oh, okay, there's one. Okay, one less, one less, one less, one less. Oh, two less, one less, one less. Why don't we have more, you might be saying? Why don't we have more of this stuff? You would think would have nearly an endless supply. It's ridiculous, right? Oh no. Let me go down here. My other notes were down here. Okay, the deeper problem is the interceptor crisis, which gets less attention. The THAAD and Patriot missiles that shoot down incoming Iranian missiles and drones aren't running low. They were already at a quarter desired capacity before the war started, partly because of what was sent to Israel and Ukraine. Iran knows this, but there was a thing here about it's the companies who build them. Oh, U.S. spends more on defense than the next 9 countries combined. And that is because there was a retired rear admiral who explained to Time, defense contractors have become, quote, financial market optimization machines, unquote. What? They kept production lines at minimum viable rates to preserve profit margins. They bought back stock instead of building inventory. Capitalism. President Dumpster Fire has now signed an executive order barring Lockheed and RTX from stock buybacks until they hit production targets. When did you sign that? When did you sign that, Dumpy? After you, okay. Also, who else had to sit through 85 Trump campaign speeches where he was talking about how he rebuilt the military? Excuse me. Because from what I can see, our military was depleted significantly in 72 hours because of you. This is your second term, dimwit. Anyway, Lockheed says they'll quadruple output. I'm sorry, I sneezed. Nobody will give a time. The 2-year build cycle for Tomahawks doesn't change because of an executive order. And this is another thing. The rare earth minerals for guidance systems still largely come from China. Shall I repeat that? The rare earth minerals for guidance systems for the missiles we need still largely comes from China. Okay, so there's some other astrological stuff I'll put there, but I did want to point out, so what is likely to happen, there's what's likely to happen logically, astrologically, and I can look at the tarot as well. What is logically likely to happen is President Dumpster Fire Donald Jeffrey Trump over the next 2 to 4 weeks says, oh, I won, bye. Victory declaration, and pulls out. Just pretends he won. The Strait of Hormuz gradually reopens, although we're going to read on the mines they're setting, because they're setting so many that the U.S. Navy can't. They're laying them faster than the U.S. Navy can do anything about it. They're using very small craft. Oil will stay elevated for a while. And the munitions hole will probably get funded through a $50 billion supplemental bill the Republicans will pass while complaining about the deficit. Lockheed and RTX stock goes up, gas stays expensive, and nothing changes. Yeah. This isn't the first time he's done something like this. He did it with the Houthis in June of 2025, the 12-day war. He did it in Yemen. Yeah. Wow. But yes, burn $50 for a white MAGA hat. Yeah. $400 Tomahawk missiles in 72 hours. They've used more since then. But in the first 72 hours, 400 Tomahawk missiles. And Strait of Hormuz is effectively closed. Iran isn't free. There's talk that really nothing has happened to the enriched uranium stockpile Iran has. So for absolutely Tower and Death card, absolutely nothing. Kind of like what I like about Trump. Absolutely nothing. So, oh yes, and Russia's getting vast amounts of money, like at least $150 million or something, that they will use to kill more Ukrainians. Yes, 45 partially lifted sanctions on Russia. And the thing is, I'm not even done. There's more. But for now, I guess we should check on our military readiness. Burn says, you're not alone in that feeling. I didn't think I would be. Card for the reading is a death card. Magician, huge resources, but there's justice. It's not endless. King of Pentacles. Oh, and the Republicans going on and on over the decades about they're the peace through strength party. And now you are protecting Donald Jeffrey Trumpstein. Eight of Swords, hemmed in. Military is hemmed in, which puts more of our service people in danger. Four of Cups, refusal. Oh, I've heard enough. We did not vote for him. We didn't. You can sleep, at least you can sleep at night knowing you did not vote for this jerk. Okay, so stockpiles depleted. So, hello, sweetheart. Okay, so now at 3110, we need to talk about, or 3115, we need to talk about the Strait of Hormuz. Lucid Pause says, I don't know about you guys, but I'm about to break out my flying monkeys. Yes. And yes, Raymond, war is peace, ignorance is strength, freedom is slavery. George Orwell, yes, from 1984. Pam says, I just received an alert that 2,200 troops are headed to the Middle East. Alert from whom? And yes, user, release the files. Okay, thanks. Oh, I've got a story about that too. Something you probably will. I've not heard, so I imagine you haven't either. So, Iran has very much been laying mines on the Strait of Hormuz using small boats, placing them faster than the U.S. can clear them. And then we talked about the Pentagon has already burned through what officials describe as years' worth of key munitions in 2 weeks of fighting. You know, Trump's famous 2 weeks? Yeah. Now, oh shoot, I should have made a note of if I was looking at the transits for today, which would affect the world, or if I was looking at the US transits. Anyway, but I don't want to say something that isn't from the right thing, but by the way, Saturn conjunct Neptune in Aries, that it's growing wider as Saturn's moving on, but that conjunction that still has some, it's still affecting each one's affecting the other at least somewhat. Saturn conjunct Neptune in Aries for the munition stuff, it's a fantasy of a fast, decisive war. The fantasy, the propaganda. And I've shown this before, I've talked about this before. I don't think I've got a graphic for it here. But no, I don't. But Neptune in Aries is about, it's the propagandist. If you think of Aries as and all the planets in Aries, if you think of Aries as being like the battlefield, it actually can also be like the Wild West or the pioneers. But if you think of it as a battlefield, your Neptune's going to be your propagandist. So it's this glory, praise the Lord and pass the ammunition. That's Neptune in Aries. And that is coming right up against Saturn in Aries that's saying, I'm sorry, I'm the quartermaster, or I keep all the records, and we only have so many munitions, and you just acted like an idiot. in how you use them for no good reason. And no, you can't just create them out of nothing. That's Neptune coming up against Saturn in Aries. Or Neptune flooding the place and then Saturn showing up and saying, oh, it'll cost you this much to get this fixed. So, yeah. Oh, thank you, Brian. Your astrology and lessons have been awesome. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. And congratulations, Melissa. I have a brand new niece. Oh, fresh melon. Bless. I hope she has the most wonderful life. Anyway. All right. So that's what's going on there. So, and here's the thing, even if President Chicken Taco, decides to just go, oh, I won, and then like go home, pick up his ball and bat and go home, Israel's still there. Our bases are still there. Yeah. And it's still a complete mess, and there's not much reason for Iran to completely open the Strait of Hormuz back up. And the way that Pangea, wasn't that the name of the most recent time that all of the different continents came together? Over the millions and millions of years, the continents were there, they broke apart, they came back together, they broke apart, they came back together, and there are names for each one of the land masses, the big land masses they formed. Which is why the Appalachian Mountains here in the US is the same mountain range that you get in Scotland. Yes. So, Pangea, yeah. So because of just the way our continent split apart, there are bottlenecks. So, and as long as there are bottlenecks, guess who ends up paying the price? You have all those people over there and all the disruption and girls' schools being hit. Excuse me. But guess who's going to be paying higher gas prices, therefore higher prices for everything? Us. Knight of Wands. Oh yeah, Iran. They're not. Okay, and there's something I can go into more details if you want me to. But the thing about Iran that I don't think a lot of Americans know, and I could be wrong on this. I'm always open. I have way too much Sagittarius in my chart for me to be like, oh, I'm right, and I have nothing to learn. No, I have a huge Sagittarius stellium that's like, knowledge. I want to improve mine. What have you got? Yay. The thing about Iran, my understanding is overthrowing Iran is, if it's not impossible, good luck. Because my understanding is, in essence, an oversimplification is they're basically 3 armies that police each other. So good luck with that. Yeah. Temperance, 4 of Swords, quiet as a tomb. All the swords not being used with Temperance. This is after Chicken Taco, chicken's out. 2 of Pentacles. We are on shaky ground. Our economy, it's a mess. Page of Wands, Ace of Cups. And more power to Democrats and those who are willing to stand up and say no to this authoritarian nightmare of a regime. Ours. So Iran might not be the biggest country in the world. They might not have the biggest economy in the world. Oh, but they have teeth. And like real estate, location, location, location. So, wow. Gene Hall says another unified against a common enemy. So, what is gonna, I want to have a quick look at 4050. I want to have a quick look at war funding. Because there is a lot of talk of more than 250 organizations are calling on Congress to reject the administration's request for about $50 billion in new war funding. $250 billion in new war funding. No. How about no? How about no? No would work. No, does no work for us? I think no works for us. Jeff says, it's odd to me how in astrology I've not heard anyone else mention how by July we'll move from the slow-paced energies of earth and water to air and fire energies. Faster timeline, indeed. Oh yeah, there's a lot coming up. There's a lot. So, hey, Republicans, the magician is all about resources. Being short, coming up short, day late and a dollar short. But you had quite the party. I hope you had a good time. Page of Pentacles. Yeah, you did all this and never thought about the consequences. You didn't. And seriously, the other day I mentioned, if you didn't see it, CNN had a retired, high up military person who was trying to talk about what was happening. And I'm not saying he wasn't good at his job, but if someone like him who's talking to Trump, no wonder Trump was like, yeah, we'll do it, because this guy was just all, we are efficient, we get the job done, the military will do this and this and this, and it'll be done, and da 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 da. I'm sorry, are you blowing smoke up Trump's girdle too? It isn't that we're not capable. It isn't that we don't have a strong military. And we don't have very, very brave people in our military. It's that this is a stupid war, and we get nothing out of it. Ace of Swords. You want more war? Son. Oh, no. We're going to look very closely at what you did with the resources you had. This is not paying. This is looking. This is things being very much out in the open. So for what it's worth, yeah. Mary says, none of these people played Stratego or Battleship as children. I know, right? Oh, boy. So, anyway. Okay, now this. Oh, JD Vance, Shady Vance. We need to talk about Shady Vance at 4440. Shady Vance. Wow. We don't hang on everything that these authoritarian wannabes say. And Vance has the charisma of wet, crumpled paper. A box of tissues that accidentally got soaking wet. That's about how much charisma Shady Vance has. Man can't even order donuts. Right? Well, we may not remember, you may not remember, I didn't remember, just how much Shady Vance was with Trump on no new wars on the lead up to the election. That was the thing. That was the platform. He is, I want to say, an Iraq war vet, and he very anti-war, no new wars, no stupid wars, blah, 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 blah. Until Trump did this. And then suddenly, apparently, Trump decided he was going to do this, and apparently Fancy Pants decided to convince Trump to go, well, if you're going to do this, you need to go hard. You're not playing bloody knuckles. It's a war. Okay. So, yeah. Well, it hasn't gone well. During the Vance campaign saying that Trump was the only choice if you didn't want no more wars. Exactly. So Fancy Pants changed his tune quickly. Okay? But it hasn't been going well. So now the people around Fancy Pants are distancing him from the Iran war he has helped sell. Two senior Trump officials told Politico that Vance made his opposition known before the war began and is now privately worried about its success. You know he has his people going out there yammering because he's worried about 2028. This from the same vice president who campaigned on being the pro-peace candidate, who would never send Americans to fight in Iran. Okay, we talked about Neptune on the bottom of the U.S. chart. Well, that is directly opposite from the top of the chart. Our goals, success, public standing, all this kind of stuff. And we have Neptune opposite that. So I try to explain it as oppositions are like a seesaw effect. You can have one getting stronger, but only by the other one getting weaker, and then back and forth and back and forth. So it's disruptive and it's aggravating and things don't work right. And you have to be, it can work well if you're patient, but So Neptune is opposing the U.S. midheaven. Leadership, fog. Leadership fog. The official story and the real internal story, not the same. We know that. Someone around Vance is leaking this deliberately. Duh. He's the bad guy. Duh. Positioning him ahead of 2028 while Trump owns the outcome. Likely outcome, Vance gets more distance the longer it drags on, and the leaks get more specific. N is saying J.D. Vance did not see combat and does not have a clue. Color me shocked. Meanwhile, as I'm shuffling to look at Fancy Pants, a civil war, quote unquote, is underway inside the White House over how to define and exit the Iran conflict. Economic advisors want Trump to frame the operation as nearly complete, which is what he's saying. Oh, we're done. We're it's almost done. There's hardly anything left to bomb. You mean with the bombs you don't have? The bombs you're running low from? Again, that 400 out of the 4,000 total Tomahawks, the 10%, the 400, that was not 2 weeks. That was the first 72 hours. Yeah. And as soon as Trump said, "Oh, it's nearly complete," apparently the market rebounded somewhat. While hawks, including Senators Graham and Cotton, Steve Bannon, and Tucker Carlson, are pushing for escalation. And Israeli officials privately assess the regime in Iran is not likely to fall for many more weeks or months. Yes, Amy, Operation Epic Failure. Yeah. So, Fancy Pants. I don't want to insult weasels or snakes by calling him a weasel or a snake. It's hard to express just how gross J.D. Vance is. All right, Four of Pentacles, Empress, Emperor. He's being overshadowed. Sorry, the world's smallest violin. Right now, it's all about Trump. It's all about Trump. And Trump makes the big money, and Trump, Vance, of course, he has Teal. He has his donors, but he's just twiddling his thumbs in the background to effectively, is what it feels like. The country he wants to take over to be the would-be emperor, but no, you can't. No. He's lucky when Trump will even listen to him. Queen of Pentacles. So the whole group of Republicans. Queen of Wands. Yeah, he'll manage to bamboozle a lot of Republicans, but you can't win elections in this country unless you can get the independents and get some Democrats to jump ship. Looking at you, Democrats who jump ship. Anywho, and I don't want to hear about corporate Democrats. This is not two legs in the same pair of pants. Not by a long shot. Anyway. So, yeah, Chris Cole, how to destroy the Persian Gulf fishing industry in 3, 2, 1. Yeah. I know there's some people who say that dumpster fire is going to no longer be with us before the midterm elections. I don't know about that. Because I'm reading on Vance here, and this is out in the cold. 3 of Wands, waiting for, he's out in the cold, he's waiting for a ship to come in. And there's a big old death card right there. Thank you, TC, for becoming a member. Thank you so much. But after someone pops his clogs, this is very shaky ground. This is not the victorious Vance coronation. This is very shaky ground. You have to suck up to a lot of Republicans. But this is him being hemmed in, which makes me wonder just how badly are the Republicans going to lose the midterms? How well are we going to do by going out and voting? That Fancy Pants, even if he attains the big chair, would be thrown. Can't do hardly anything because Democrats control Congress and block him at every last move. I like this plan. Let's do this. Oh, yeah, and Vance is owned by Teal. We know that. And Teal is scary. Teal is a lunatic. That is my opinion. Entertainment only YouTube, but my opinion is Peter Thiel is a lunatic. Anyway. All right. There's this less than 8 months into the midterms. Yep. We're going to vote. We are going to vote. All right. So. What else is here? I don't know that there's much to read on about Russia. I don't have much time left. And yeah, just know President Dumpster Fire Donald Jeffrey Trump. He's loosened sanctions on Russia. So they're going to get at least like $150 million from oil. Great. Yeah. So, but do at 56:45, do be careful. Watch your pennies. Let's say the economy that Trump promised. Yeah. February jobs report showed 92,000 positions lost. And you know it gets worse when they revise it down later. Anytime they come out with jobs reports, I'm like, no, tell me once you revise it in like 3 months. Tell me the truth. GDP growth in the U.S. fell to 1.4% in the fourth quarter of 2025. Yeah. The weakest annual expansion in 9 years outside of the pandemic. Dragged down by DOGE cuts, shutdowns, trade disruptions. War-driven fuel costs are adding to the pressure on working families. Yeah. So we know we talked about Saturn has the receipts and the bill. And Saturn isn't all bad. If you do the work, you will get rewarded. You will, which is awesome. But Saturn in the sky is squaring our Venus, U.S. Venus, and it's like within 1/10 of a degree. Really, really squaring, really causing friction. And Saturn's going to be in the neighborhood for a while. It doesn't move. It moves, but it doesn't move that quickly. So we're stuck in this for a bit. And this is a squeeze on household finances. As structural, not a blip. Likely outcome, consumer sentiment continues declining. And it's possible the economic numbers become a political story that overtakes the war. So let's have a look at the economy. But we're going to make it through. I know, I told you a lot of scary stuff today and because I wanted to beat my head against the desk. I was just like, you've got to be kidding me. They are this dumb. They really are this stupid. They really are this vain and narcissistic and narrow-minded and but we've been through a lot. Let's face it. We've been through a lot over the years. So this isn't going to break us. But really? Reminds me of the memes. they show up in on social media just regularly, just an ongoing background every once in a while. It's a picture of Barack Obama, greeting a bunch of people and shaking hands and all of this, and they put a song over it like, "Baby, come back, you can blame it all on me, I was wrong." And it's like, yes. Or the time that Colbert was talking about Barack Obama, or they showed a clip of Barack Obama speaking, and when they came back to Colbert, he was right in front of the camera, and he said, "Miss you." So, yeah. Watch your pennies. And yes, there aren't physical pennies anymore, but there's still pennies in your bank account. So, Page of Swords. Struggling. Tightening your belt. Yeah. Yep. I've got to see if I still have any frozen peppers in the freezer so I can make red beans and rice tonight. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Bern. Yeah, Trump's victory. Wheel of Fortune, that's the reality. And there's President Dumpster Fire himself, the man who is an absolute fool. So we have each other. We're in this together. And we're going to get through this. But we've got some things to just endure for now. But last night at 5:30 Central, I came on here. Kirsten Langston couldn't be. From Third Eye Champagne. Kirsten couldn't do cocktail Congress last night, but I did. I did it here, and it goes through. So every Thursday, it shows. It's just a short, like 20-minute live stream on Thursday evenings, and we go through the easiest ways for you to contact your representatives, and then list companies that are supporting MAGA, and then companies that are supporting our side, so you can make better decisions about where you want to spend your money. So we cover different categories every week. So Michelle says other readers are advising the same thing. Have cash on hand somewhere safe. Yep. Mrs. Conkington's Cocktail Congress appreciated. Well, thank you. Well, I couldn't miss it. She had a family thing she had to take care of, but I couldn't miss it. So, all right. We made it. We made it through the news. And now you are hopefully better informed. I've been really working hard to make sure I get as much good information to you as possible. So, it is 1:15. Thank you. It is 1:15 here in Chicago. Very windy. I hope the noise wasn't horrible because it's still blowing and blowing and blowing. But at 3 o'clock, I'll be over on the Creative Sprints channel. You're always welcome. Just bring whatever you want to work on, and we'll just encourage you. It's just very simple. Sarah is off today and tomorrow because she has a couple of markets where she'll be selling her crocheted creations. They are amazing. But I will be there this afternoon, and I will absolutely be here tomorrow. Every weekday, weekend, holiday, your birthday, my birthday, I am here. I have been for over 6 years. We're in this together, bucko. All right? You're not alone. We're in this together. There are good days ahead. All right? And as always, I'll see you later. Okay. Bye.